I defeated a low-ranking witch recently, and I wanted to share my story with you to help you identify some of the things you might face if you consider yourself to be a chosen one or divinely protected individual. This was an individual that was highly respected in, the black magic community, someone that had, eliminated individuals, conjured up demons, and caused a lot of chaos and been successful at it. But the reason why I consider her to be a low ranking witch, negatively oriented, I should say, because not all witches are bad, is because when anyone from planet Earth comes up against, you know, me with a higher self that's older than time and karma itself, I consider that individual to be a low ranking witch. I recently found out that a game these little cults and demonic societies like to, practice is if they can't get you from a distance sending death spells and black magic, what they'll do is they'll try to get close to you and befriend you, and that's what happened to me. Someone came online with all the compliments, and we'll admit, there was like an energetic connection there. It was like sometimes, this person was from another country and there's a big time difference, and so sometimes I found myself up from 12 o'clock till 5 in the morning, like just texting back and forth. And this was someone who had, spiritual gifts, but, unfortunately used them for the wrong purposes. But I didn't know that right away. And, we built up this friendship, chatting back and forth. And eventually, I started experiencing things that my gut were like, okay, well, this doesn't align to what my head is telling me. There was times where she was like, oh, I'm going to send you a bottle of wine. And I was like, how cool would that be? A bottle of wine sent from the other side of the planet. Yeah, that'd be pretty dope, right? But something in my gut, because this individual told me about her past and the things that she's been involved in. And I was just like, I give anyone an opportunity, regardless of, what you look like or what you've been in the past. But, right away, my gut was kind of like, okay, here's someone you got to pay attention to, kind of thing, right? That's just something to keep in mind real quick. If you don't trust an individual, do not eat or drink anything or even accept a gift that they give you. Then one time she sent me this video out of the blue with this jar, murky water. I believe these little cockroaches call it hell water or something like that. And there was a black candle and her hands were doing all this bullshit. And within 3 seconds of watching this video that she sent me, my higher self was like, don't watch this video. She wants you to focus on it so that your energy goes into that jar and she can perform her black magic. So I just turned it off right away. However, this was, my intuition telling me, and it was so against, the conversations that we had. And then eventually I was able to say goodbye when I realized that she had done some kind of spell, conjured up some kind of demon that when it was sent to me and saw me in the astral and realized who I am in, where I'm at in the spiritual ranking department, this demonic being kind of, became my friend and was like, sorry, I'm going to head back home and attack the individual that sent me in the first place. And this person, ended up with broken ribs and couldn't move for weeks. I've been working with shamans and plant medicine and seers and psychic individuals since 2015. And I've got to see some of their abilities. And, before I was aware of all this, it was kind of like paradigm shattering. Like, you mean there's people that can see everything you've done, go to the washroom and hear your thoughts and, transplant their consciousness across the world into an animal and actually spy on you. And this was the case with this owl video I'm going to show you. For the last 5 years, I've spent probably a lot more money than I'd like to admit on peanuts. I feed the crows and squirrels and blue jays every morning. So I have a lot of crows that come to my yard. And what I've learned is that Hecate is associated with crows. And if you honor the crow, you can bring in protection. And this individual from this cult, I know this is going to sound a little wacko, but she was able, because her higher self was a being named Ereshkigal, apparently the queen of the underworld, and she's associated with owls. And this person that I was talking to was able to send her consciousness into this owl that was in my backyard and would actually spy on me. I remember walking up to this owl and when I looked into its eyes, you know, I love all animals, even if an owl's demonically possessed. I still think it looks beautiful, right? But this happened right before the video I'm about to show you. When I looked into this owl's eyes, they were so black and just, you know, it just gave off this feeling of whatever energy was coming through those eyes was extremely demonic, right? This situation with the owl actually happened right before I cut her off. You know, I was shown, as you'll see in this video, a massive amount of crows come in and chase this owl out of my yard that she was using to use her seer abilities to spy on me. And when I was watching this, I just got this download came to me that, you know, this woman is represented by the owl, and these were the crows that were chasing it out of my yard, and that was meaning it was time to get rid of this connection. Another way that the universe speaks through animals. Over 63,000 followers on TikTok. Greatly appreciate the support. Would love to see you over at YouTube at Saved by an Angel, Instagram Ash Sam 888. Hit that like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.